Go watch a special called The Levees Broke that Spike Lee did. Go watch a bunch of shit to understand this is not just some, yo, Katrina happened. Nigga said, nah, nigga, my city is gone, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So your request was not uncalled for, even though you got an advance. It was a catastrophic situation that happened.
Cam, big brother, that's how I felt about it. I was like, say, bro, you just gave me an advance, but this situation, I just not to soften it up, but I don't think he understood the detrimental situation of Katrina at the moment, you dig? Because when I told him to help me, he basically told me to get on the road. He was like, you better get on the road. Like, get on the road? I ain't got no home to go to.
Yeah. Where am I going?
I was outside the wall, so I'm telling you, it's not easy to be where I'm at now, but...
You got past the moat with the alligators.
Yes, man, and that's not easy. I've been through it all in this game, from being blackballed, talked about, said I couldn't rap, said I couldn't do this and shit like that, and I never let nothing discourage me because I know what I wanted to do and where I needed to go. Plus, I knew that there was nowhere else in this world that I could figure out how to make $1 like this game.
I said that, there's nothing that this shit could show me that I ain't seen a million times, man. And sometimes you just gotta run through it, man. Fuck what people say. Embrace failure. And 2, 3, 4 losses that I had, that shit gave me the fire to come back and learned a lot about me. You have to learn from your failures and stay consistent. That's it. When people know what to, know to look for you because you're constantly doing it, that's when you win. And that's what I'm all about, man.
When 50 Cent publicly declared that he would buy Jim Jones and Mayo's podcast, the entire incident took on a completely different tone. This was not delivered like one of his typical casual insults, nor was it framed as a joke or expressed with irony. It seemed like a power move, a reminder of control, money, and leverage. It landed so forcefully because of this. Since Camron is more than just a commentator, his response added another level. He is connected to Jim Jones personally, to the history of Dipset, and to the lengthy recollection of how relationships in this area fluctuate. This exchange grew beyond a back and forth. It evolved into a discussion about ownership, pride, respect, and the appropriate level of public conflict when money is involved. 50 Cent has always been adept at using words to exert pressure. He knows how to say something that causes others to respond even when they do not want to. He was talking about more than just owning a show when he said he would purchase the podcast. He was discussing control over the dialogue, control over the platform, and control over the story. That kind of remark resonates differently in hip-hop, where independence is a symbol of ownership. It implies that if the price is right, what other people have created can be seized, purchased, or controlled. Cam's remark was important because of the powerful reaction. Camron wasn't shocked by his response. Experience was the source of it. He's been around long enough to recognize when something is supposed to be humorous and when it's meant to push boundaries. His tone represented someone who understands how 50 functions. Cam refrained from hurling insults at first. Rather, he responded with a mixture of laughter, caution, and disbelief. He was aware that this was more than amusement, as evidenced by that balance. It was an indication. Everyone is forced to consider what will happen next when someone like 50 says something like that. Jim Jones and Mayo created their podcast as a platform for unrestricted speech, cultural discussion, and opinion sharing. The platform speaks for individuals, regardless of whether they agree with them or not. Even if he never really intended to purchase it, 50's remark put that notion in jeopardy. Their independence was called into question by the statement alone. People perceived it as disrespectful because of this. Respect is more than just words in hip-hop. Allowing people to stand on what they have created is the goal. Camron has a long history with 50. There have been tense, aloof, and silent periods on both sides. Cam's response was more significant because of that background. He was not responding as an outsider or a fan. He was responding as someone who is familiar with the personalities involved and is aware of how quickly things may go wrong. Even though he understood why 50 did it, his response implied that he thought the matter should not have escalated. This whole scenario also illustrates how social media has altered hip-hop conflict. Disagreements used to be kept behind closed doors or expressed via music. These days, comments, posts, and interviews take place in real time. 50 Cent is an expert in this field. He is adept at staying at the forefront of discussions. Whether they realized it or not, Jim Jones and Mayo entered that area by speaking about him. You invite a response once you've done that. The issue is that 50 never reacts casually. Camron's response demonstrated that he was aware of that dynamic. He didn't act as though this was harmless. He realized that the energy changes when ownership and money are brought up. It starts to focus more on status and less on opinions. Saying, "I can buy what you built," is regarded as one of the worst acts of contempt in hip-hop culture. It raises concerns about value as well as success. However, other people think that 50's remark was essential. They contend that Mayo and Jim Jones discussed him first, questioned his motivations, and critiqued his behavior. From that perspective, 50 reacting violently is congruent with his personality. When his name is mentioned, he has never been known to remain silent. His remark did not constitute bullying to those supporters. It served as a reminder that words have repercussions. Camron's response did not entirely support either position. It was intriguing because of that. He did not entirely criticize 50, but he also did not commend him. Rather, he emphasized how outrageous the statement was and how it altered the atmosphere. That reaction seemed less reactive and more contemplative. It implied that Cam was considering more than simply the present. Additionally, this circumstance rekindled long-standing discussions about internal divisions and disloyalty. Those old tales resurface whenever Jim Jones gets embroiled in a public dispute. Camron's response brought that past to light once more. It served as a reminder that nothing in hip-hop occurs in a vacuum. Each comment relates to years of shared experiences, disagreements, and unresolved emotions. Since podcasts are now one of the remaining venues where artists can control their own voice, the thought of purchasing someone's podcast also touched a chord. Expression has always been constrained by platforms, contracts, and labels. Podcasts have a distinct vibe. They are intimate. It feels like a challenge to identity to jeopardize that place. Camron's response had weight since it appeared that he understood that. Additionally, it's unclear if 50 ever planned to purchase the show. Some people think it was just chatter, a ploy to control the topic. Others believe it was sufficient, even if he had no intention of doing it. Impact is more important in hip-hop than intention. Here, the effect was evident. It changed the story and made everyone react. Camron's response served as a pause button. It slowed everything down just enough to allow for thought. His remark provided context rather than instant insults and mayhem. Viewers were reminded that this is more than simply drama on the internet. These are genuine individuals with genuine history and genuine pride. The social media feud between Mayo, Jim Jones, and 50 Cent demonstrates how easily things can get out of control when money, ego, and public platforms come together. What began as comments became assertions of power. The disagreement was not resolved by Camron's intervention, but it was reframed. It changed people's perspectives on the matter. Jim Jones saw the comment as a challenge to his authority as a builder and employer. It made Mayo wonder about his significance and position. It strengthened his reputation as someone who uses money as a weapon and never backs down. Without having to express it explicitly, Camron's response brought all of that to light. Hip-hop unity was another issue brought up by this incident. Conversations frequently result in divisiveness rather than understanding. Every remark turns into a dominance test. Even if Camron is aware of that loop, his response implied that he is tired of it. In the end, this is more than just a podcast. It has to do with pride, authority, and the boundaries people transgress when faced with difficulties. For some, 50 Cent went too far, but for others, he set a crucial boundary. Even individuals closest to the situation can see both sides, as seen by Camron's response. The audience is now the focus of the conversation. It is up to the viewers to decide what they think. Was 50's declaration that he would purchase the podcast incorrect, or was it just his way of reacting to criticism? Should Camron have refrained from getting involved, or was his response appropriate? There are no easy answers to these questions. It is obvious that this moment will be remembered for what it symbolized rather than for the insults. Money versus pride, ownership versus speech, and silence versus reaction. That tension was caught by Camron's response, which made it hard to ignore. It's critical to look past sides and concentrate on significance as the discussion progresses. This is the current evolution of hip-hop talks. Loud, public, and multi-layered. There is more to the story involving Mayo, Camron, Jim Jones, and 50 Cent than just drama. It reflects both the current state of the culture and its potential future. How this event is remembered will be shaped by the remarks, responses, and discussions that ensue. The influence is already there, regardless of whether people laugh it off or take it seriously. By responding, Camron made sure that it wouldn't be written off as another online incident. Long after the words were spoken, it became a topic worth considering, arguing, and talking about. For this reason, the circumstance is significant, and Camron's response gave a moment that might have been dismissed as noise more nuance. Upon closer examination, this circumstance also demonstrates how important reputation is. 50 Cent has established a reputation where people expect him to strike hard and publicly, even in a time where attention seems to be the most valuable commodity. Before anyone even reacts, his reputation lends credibility to what? It did not support it, but it did acknowledge it. This circumstance also demonstrates how easily amusement can turn into tension. Personal pressure develops from what begins as contentment. Every syllable feels heavier because of the public's gaze, criticism, and ongoing response. Camron demonstrated an awareness of such a situation by responding with composure. People will keep coming back to this point as discussions go on because it raises important issues. Who is the conversation's owner? Who is in charge of the area? What is the proper way to use power? These inquiries extend beyond the parties concerned. They are applicable to the entire culture. This instance also demonstrates how power is now measured differently than it was in the past. Power used to come from label control, street credibility, or hit records. These days, platforms, audiences, and the capacity to influence online discourse are also sources of power. 50 Cent was utilizing that contemporary type of power when he referenced purchasing the podcast. He was reminding everyone that, like music catalogs and businesses, exposure and reach can be owned. Camron's response demonstrated that he fully comprehends this change, which is why he did not dismiss it as mere rhetoric. Ownership and control over his work have always been important to Cam. He has openly spoken about business independence and ensuring that artists are not exploited throughout his career. The significance of his response is further explained by this backdrop. He wasn't merely responding as a competitor to 50 or as a friend to Jim Jones. He was responding as someone who knows what it's like to start from scratch and how intimidating it is to have someone openly threaten to take anything from you. This scenario also has a generational component. 50 Cent hails from a time when dominating the public was essential to surviving. You couldn't come out as unsure, weak, or mute. Each response needed to be decisive and perceptive. Now that discussion and commentary are a part of the brand, Jim Jones and Mayo work in a slightly different environment. This was the moment when those two worlds clashed. Camron responded in a way that demonstrated an awareness of both perspectives while standing in between the two eras. The speed at which fans took sides is another crucial aspect of the scenario. Some quickly complimented 50, claiming he placed everyone in their proper place and that it was a boss move. Others said it was needless and demeaning, particularly to those who contributed to the culture's development. A compromise was made possible by Camron's response. It made it possible for individuals to accept the comment's impact without acting as though it was innocuous. Additionally, the response demonstrated restraint, which is uncommon in situations like this. Cam refrained from using insults or threats to intensify the conflict. He did not fuel the flames. Rather, he let the weight of 50's words do the talking. Because it did not divert attention from the problem, that strategy increased the effectiveness of his response. It directed attention precisely where it was required. People are also reminded by this circumstance that each response does not have to be more forceful than the previous one. Camron's decision to respond more calmly stood out in a world where aggression is frequently rewarded with views and clicks. It implied alertness and maturity even in the midst of conflict. Many people's perceptions of the situation were altered by that decision. For Jim Jones, legacy is another important aspect of this era. After transitioning from artist to executive to media voice, he has spent years repairing his reputation. A remark similar to 50's challenges that are made public. The statement itself compels Jim to defend his stance, even if nothing comes of it. Camron's response indicated support without escalating into a full-scale conflict. Mayo's contribution to this should also not be disregarded. Mayo has a reputation for speaking things that others won't, since she frequently speaks candidly and frankly. Strong reactions may result from that honesty.